Okay.
All right, guys, let's just get started. Welcome, welcome once again. Please confirm, can you see me? Can everyone see me, please? Okay, all right, all right, all right. Thank you so much for joining. Apologies once again for starting late. Apparently, I guess I mean I see people started joining. I think when you got the email notification, for some reason it was broken. But it's good to have you here. Welcome to Toluwalope, welcome Pels, welcome Gold, welcome Demani, Ayomide, Folorunsho, Blessing, Temi, Jesse, Kemi, Jessica. And there are a lot of people here now. So thank you so much for joining. So let's just dive right into it. I will be sharing my screen now. Okay. There's a go to shoulder. No, 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 no. Okay, share. All right. Can everyone see the screen? Can you see my screen? Okay. Oh, there's something wrong again. Now, I mean, so I'm referring to the one I'm sharing. Okay. Okay. Um.
I can see your screen. Oh.
Okay. Just a second, please. I don't know that is it maybe Zoom acting up today or something. Just a second. Let me stop again and do that again. Okay, sure.
You can see your screen.
All right, you can see what I'm sharing, right? Okay.
Yes, you can.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Once again, thank you for registering for the content marketing class. The goal here is to basically equip you guys with skills, and a lot of things that we'll be talking about here are things that some of you already know. So it will be reinforced once again. And it might also be something that you are new to, which is actually also fine because what we've tried to put together is something that is very, very beginner friendly majorly, and I can promise you that you are in for a very, very insightful time. Okay, so let's just get right into it. So this is how we get started. This is Cradle Africa. We are an edtech platform built for Nigerian graduates, Nigerian students to, bridge that gap between skills and employability, because we know that the landscape is already changing. The job market is changing every day, especially with the advent of AI. And what we just plan or hope to do is to equip everyone, because a lot of us, I don't know, there will definitely be people who are already out of school, and to a large extent, you're probably even doing what you didn't study in school. So that's the world that we live in now, and we just need to move with that, and we need to move equipped so that we do not get left behind. If at any point you have any questions, please feel free to just raise your hand and we'll pick it up from there. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's that about Cradle Africa. So let's just get right into it. So who's this guy? My name is Praise, right? I'm just this guy that I just really like happens to really like marketing, and it is what it is. I'm sorry, I'm getting a mail. Said he can't join. Someone cannot join. Mm. All right. So, yeah, like I said, my name is Praise, or you can call me Shegun, and I've I've been a storyteller since I was a child, right? So I grew up reading comics, reading novels. My mother used to buy me at the time, and this included like things like Striker comics, Ladybird stories, things like Andy Blyton, and of course, it would eventually just expand into uh longer novels, right? Things like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, Olarotimi, all those books that we knew growing up. I spent like most of my childhood reading that, and by the time I would get older, it morphed into me, actually rewriting the stories and just adding my own elements. So if for instance, now, if in all those old tortoise stories, the tortoise and the dog, things like that, you know, maybe if the tortoise was known to get away with things, in my own case, what's going to happen is I'll make sure the tortoise suffers, right? Or if the tortoise actually suffered in the actual story, I'll make sure I got away with it. And from there, I began to write my own original story, right? And over time, I mean, I've built a marketing career spanning 5 years now across different industries, from ride hailing to e-commerce to logistics, and very recently InsurTech. I currently work as the product marketing manager at mycover.ai. And beyond that, I'm also the founder of Cradle Africa. And if any of you have been at our webinars before now, you would have seen a couple of my friends. I've seen my face rather, and then I mean, I'm sure you had like a really, really insightful and good time learning from my friends. And yeah, I just want to promise you that this is also going to be like an explosive one. So you might ask, why did I even start the way I started, right? It's I'm just trying to paint a picture to you to let you know that storytelling is a big asset. It's a big asset that you should have as a marketer. As a marketer, and I'm talking about this on a broad level. Either you're a copywriter or a graphic designer or a social media manager, it's something that you should always, strive to hone because eventually, I mean, marketing and sales work together, but marketing majorly, if permit me to use this word this way, entices to the customer. And so you really, really have to hone that particular aspect of your craft when it comes to marketing. But yeah, I skipped this. So these are a few of my influences. So this is Salem. Salem that started posting, I think, because I know I came across content around 2018. I'm sure you know these faces or a few of them, if not all of them. And basically it started off with posted motivational content, targeted at young people like himself, as well as content aimed at creatives. And over time, he has been able to build a career out of that. Just what I really, really like about him is this aspect of storytelling. And during the course of this session, I would also be recommending um books to you guys. So you guys should read Community. So instead of Community, that's COMMU. That's the normal spelling. It's COMMYOUNITY by Salem. That's something that you should really read because it really delves into and like this is someone who has like a personal brand majorly. And one of the things you find in that book is that he said you don't know how interesting your life is until you try to make a story out of everything. Right. So Salem is what I call the creator's creator, right? Is a catalyst for several people because I mean, beyond my 9 to 5, beyond Credo, I also try to create content on social media, and Salem was a catalyst for that, right? So moving on to Amin. Amin she's a moving train, right? She's a powerhouse because this is someone who switched from engineering, right? Engineering to like I'm not talking software engineering, I'm talking like actual, working on site with helmets, that kind of stuff. Actual engineering, and then she moved all the way to product, to working in product marketing. And over time, she has built a very, very successful career out of that. And I mean, she has worked at places like Twitter, I think Apple, if I'm correct. So she like if she's really what she says she is, right? She really, really knows her stuff. And I think, I mean, after this call, you guys can look all of these people up, right? Salem, I'm sure, I mean, that's his username I mean, across all platforms. Salem King or Salem King in. I mean is everything I art. I think you probably would have come across that hashtag, everything I art on Instagram. And then if you want to check out LinkedIn, that's her name right there. And then Seth Godin is, who I call like a gentle disruptor. This is someone who has been at marketing for quite some time, like for years. I'm talking from at least the 1980s. And this is someone who single-handedly redefine what it means to market a product. I mean, yeah, I mean, to be respectful to other people that have come before him, they also did like a fair job. But Seth Godin is someone who just, you know, drove it home to let you know that all marketers tell stories. Even he has a book like that actually. So it's called All Marketers Are Liars, but scratch that, All Marketers Tell Stories. So, like there's a way the book was sort of designed, and you'll find that online, right? And I put Segodi here because you'll find these first two people, Salem and Amin, actually reference him a lot because is their own catalyst or one of their own catalysts. And I think that's someone you guys should also look up. He's not on social media, but you find his books. You find he has a podcast called Akimbo. Although I think he has concluded that part. I mean, the podcast has come to a full cycle. So moving on. Yeah, I already explained. So storytelling is something that you really, really need to own, especially because of this time and age that we are. So I was initially going to use this there was this stat or this fact in quotes about the goldfish having the memory span of 8 seconds, but that's not true. That's just by the way. But the truth of the matter is attention now is very, very low on several grounds, right? Especially on social media. So when it comes to Instagram, for example, if I personally, if I'm scrolling through social media and then what I'm watching is not compelling enough, I'm very, very likely to scroll past it and blame it on, behavioral changes over the years, but the fact still remains the same. Attention is no longer the same, and you just got to find a way to attract your customers. Oh, what did I do? Okay, this is my screen. Yeah, you just got to find a way to actually get that attention from your customers. Can you still see my screen? Guys, can you still see my screen, please?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I think there's something.
Yes, we can.
Okay, something is broken. Sorry, I keep getting phased out of that. Just a second. Okay, all right. I think I'm back. Right. So I was saying, so the goal of every story at the end of the day is to move people. Either is to compel them to maybe visit your page or just drive an emotion or get them to comment on or to engage. And the way you do that is by drawing from relatable aspects, relatable things that they already know. So that's where I'll put storytelling in the first place. So storytelling is about making an ordinary or a boring thing interesting, and that involves attaching it to something relatable. So whether it's an idea, so for instance, you could be here in Nigeria. So the what like context matters a lot. I will keep recommending books, guys. So I'll because some of them are not on this presentation. Um, please look up the Culture Code. The Culture Code by I don't want to butcher his name because he's a French guy. Claude, I don't want to butcher his name, but his name is I'll just spell it Clotarie. Rapire. So it sounds Clote Rapire, something like that. The culture code, and in that book, he just drove it on when he said that wherever you are, wherever geographical location you are, or anywhere you are, you find that there is a prevailing culture there. And that is whether you want to set up a business, whether you want to market to them, that is the angle you must always come from. So there are certain things that are very, very, very peculiar to us as Nigerians. You would find that in most or in a lot of creative endeavors within Lagos or within Nigeria, that yellow downfall bus is always just there. It's always they just find a way to just put it. Maybe so I think there's this particular brand I think they sell going or something like that or suya. It's they made a restaurant out of that bus, right? Out of that yellow bus, and it's intentional. They are telling a story, right? It's and like so to make things more clear, storytelling in this context in marketing does not involve maybe writing like maybe like the conventional actual fiction or non-fiction stories that we all read, like maybe a popular hibiscus or you're writing a things fall apart. That's not what it is in this context. It's about making ordinary things boring. I mean, ordinary, making I said ordinary things, but making ordinary or boring things interesting by attaching it to something relatable. So relatable is the word you draw from different sources to ensure that your customers actually understand what you are trying to say. So right now you might find like a lot of brands are, for instance, they are playing around this football conversation. You know, Messi and Ronaldo are out of like the major leagues now, like things like Premier League, the Champions League, all of those leagues that I don't watch football, full disclosure. But they are out of the major leagues right now and they are playing in, I know Messi plays within a league in America, Ronaldo plays within a league in the UAE. They are out of like the mainstream football. But because of the World Cup, those conversations have been brought up again. Who's the GOAT? Is Messi the GOAT? Is Ronaldo the GOAT? And then you find like a lot of brands are actually um they're actually playing around this. They're playing around that conversation because it's the story people tell themselves. Everybody wants to attach themselves to a particular faction. You are at the end of the day, you're going to stand for something, right? Is you find the same thing in music, right? The Davido whiskey conversation. I'm a whiskey fan, for example. There's nothing you're going to tell me that make me. I mean, I like Davido and whatnot, but at the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, if anybody's going to even turn on their mics and start arguing with me about Davido in this period, I would always want to defend Whiskey and say, no, this is how, this is how he's better than Davido, all of those conversations. And you find that people use that in marketing, people use that in communities to just drive conversations because there's an existing context here. And that's what I'm trying to say. So at this point, I'm going to pause and just ask questions. I'd like someone to just based on this understanding, just give me an example of what storytelling actually looks like for them. You can just turn off your mic and just say something. Anyone there? Or you guys don't want to talk?
Well, I think most of us are shy, shy. But yeah, I'd say for me, storytelling, the easiest thing I can think of, is, I mean, the way I use my Instagram stories
Right.
also. So I mean, most people just post like one-off stuff and they just go, but so for me, I like to travel and all. And when I travel, I take pictures, take videos, and all of that. So like whenever I post on my Instagram stories, it's just like I like to tell a story basically. So like how it started, what the journey is like, um, you know, things I experienced, even how I felt, maybe taking a hike or something. So
Mm.
for me, I think that's like a practical example I can point to.
All
So yeah.
right. That makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, if we go by example, like that's something that if you are here and maybe your goal for wanting to learn this is to build a personal brand, right? Praise, okay, praise. You can turn off your mic and speak. Praise, your hand is raised. You want to say something? Praise, can you hear me? Okay, I guess we'll just move on. So, I mean, going by what you said, Toluwalope, it's very correct in the sense of a personal brand. Even for an actual business, when you show the BTS, there's something that resonates there. For by the time maybe a fellow business owner, especially maybe when it's like a B2B brand, and then you are showing the process, even if it's a B2C brand where maybe you are trying to sell skincare products, for example, and then you're showing that process of, you know, what it took you guys to come up with the branding, what it took you guys to even get like the raw materials for building that. It goes a long way. It goes a long way in convincing. Okay, that's fine, in convincing your customers, right? Or convincing your audience, or like whoever you're reaching out to. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let me. go to my screen. What's going on?
But can I still say something?
Oh, yes, 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 please go on.
Okay, storytelling for me is sharing.
Right,
Share. I think that's just the word that makes it work. So recently I was 1 year on Wednesday in marketing communications.
right.
I think I was doing it previously, but professionally, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Mm,
So just yesterday, an idea came to my head. It said, because I've been building this profile on LinkedIn for some months, and all of a sudden, I was like, I need to maintain the same identity on my other platforms. So, what do I do? My Instagram is not even speaking who I am. So,
mm,
I said, okay, my bio will read documenting my journey in marketing communications. And then it was like something just left my body, like the struggle just left.
mm,
So this is me telling every bit of myself, sharing my life in this profession. And that is actually storytelling. I
yeah,
learned that from Adefe because I remember her bio also reads documenting and all of that. So I'm working in the content team in my organization. I work in communications, working in the content team. I realized that storytelling is actually a big deal
yeah,
because if you do not tell, just like what you said, it's beyond books, it's beyond the literature we know. It is now in the little tiny details we in the little tiny details of our lives. If
yeah,
it's for organizations, if it's for corporate, it is in the little tiny details of what happens within and outside the organization. So
right,
for me, storytelling is just sharing, and even though it looks so simple to share, it is very tasking
it is.
because you need to polish it. You
Right,
need to it just it sometimes it comes raw, but for the audience, for it to there are different type of people to relate with it. You
yeah.
need to make it look nice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Chris. Like I mean, you said it all already. Like that's really what it is. It takes a lot of intentionality to come up with a good story. At the end of the day, it's not a one of and to be honest, like in given today's climb, there are times when you might be so lucky and then you hit it like immediately. You post something and then everybody just resonates with it. But for a lot of us, you would have to really, really, really like go the extra mile, try again and again and again. A good story about this is um, Kuda. So Kuda on TikTok for a long time, you could look that up right now. There's an article on it. I think I also added the link here. For a long time, the lady that handled or handles, I don't know if she has left Koda now, was you if you I mean if you're active on TikTok, you'd see that she was going up and down, like using different scenarios to just and what you find there is things that border around everyday life, things that and let me point out here as well as that memes sometimes like okay a lot of times is actually a form of storytelling, right? Okay, I think another way to make this more interactive, I would actually go online now to just show you guys. Just a second, please. Or while that is still loading, I could show you later. Let me not disrupt the flow. So yeah, at the end of the day, storytelling takes like a lot of intentionality and it's something that you are just gonna have to walk through. And I intentionally started this webinar with that, right? Because of course, I mean, we came here for content marketing, but storytelling is a big part of what we're trying to do. Okay, someone left. Sorry, I'm blessing. What are you referring to? Oh, she has left. Oh, she has left. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, loan apps. Oh, yeah, loan apps do it a lot. Yeah, you're right. I get what you're trying to say. Like storytelling. So, take loan apps for instance. If you've ever been disturbed, so I have an OP account, and just one day, I actually just checked. Actually, just checked like how much I have access to if I want to take a loan. Then I saw the amount. I just left it, right? And then apart from me just getting bombarded. I had to block like several numbers to just have peace of mind because it's like they want you to take that loan by fire by force. Apart from that, I'm telling you, apart from that, I began to see they fired that. That's interesting. That's actually interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Let's just move on. So, I mean, I would see ads on Okash from Okash or from one of that brand like that, like all these ads on TikTok. And then the first thing you are seeing is they're never saying, "Oh, come and buy a loan or come and get a loan from us." It's, hey, maybe you see someone crying that she's out of money and it's not even like half of the month yet. And then someone like you use like maybe the first 15 seconds to first of all describe the situation of their target audience. Someone who's like hopeless with no cash, and then they now say, "Oh yeah, you can get money from these guys." And well, by the way, please don't do loans, please, please. I don't know, it's a trap. All right, but yeah, that's another example of storytelling. All right, so let us move on. So, what is content marketing? I mean, there are more polished versions of what content marketing means, actually, but this is the way I have chosen to define it, right? So, I've called content marketing the series of dates you take your customer on before you actually ask them to commit, right? The series of dates is like it's like that guy that likes a lady, and okay, your goal is to ask her to be your girlfriend, right? I'm sorry to the ladies. I don't have a good enough I don't have a good enough example that would cover the context of a lady, but you get my point. Especially for ladies too. Even what I'm trying to say, you're not really going to if a guy is asking you out, you're not really going to just agree to just the one of, "Oh, I like you. Would you be my girlfriend?" Nah, there's a process to it. You go on dates, you have conversations, he gives you check his character. You check the kind of ideas he's bringing up. Whether he's a great guy or he's part of the Oludo uprising, you know, things like that before you eventually now say, "Oh yes, you know, you can be my boyfriend," or she says yes to you that you can be my girlfriend. So in the context of content marketing, just look at it as you being in the position of that guy that's trying to woo a lady. See yourself as that guy, as a marketer, as a social media manager, or I'm actually curious. Please, could you if you're working in any role in marketing, please could you drop your roles? I'm just curious to see where we are at this, or you could just also drop the kind of marketing role you are after for taking this. I mean, for taking this course. You can just drop it in the comment section. Right. So. Yeah, so that's really what content marketing is. If you go online, you probably find a more conventional explanation, but that is how I would like you to think about it. And then there are guidelines that guide this. So at the end of the day, it's not something you're just doing for the sake of it, right? There's a goal in mind, right? So every piece of content should be working towards something specific like awareness, engagement, sales, retention. So it's a case of if you cannot like name the goal, then don't publish it yet. Because at the end of the day, you are just gonna be dilly-dallying. Oh my God, I think it's really important that we show examples. It's show it, I think because most of what is here is theoretical. All right, I would pick that up very soon. Okay, so like I said, every piece of content should be working towards something specific. If you can't name the goal, then it's best to not publish anything yet and actually lock that in. There is a goal in mind, right? You also need to be clear on your target audience. So I mean, if you work for a fashion brand, your target audience cannot be everyone who is interested in fashion, right? Because even everyone who's interested in fashion are interested or is interested for a particular reason. So you have to find out that reason, right? And I'm sure that by now, you know, you already have at least the faintest idea of what it means to have a target audience. And if you do not, it is worth looking into because this is not that class. It's not really about ICPs or it's more about content marketing. And also, it's important to understand that content marketing is not in trends. It's not really in chasing trends. So the way it is, the way I always think about it is you could always chase trends or you set one for yourself, right? So it's something that you must always bear in mind because if your goal is to chase trends, what you find is, well, you're not really doing so much because you're just going to wait for the next viral thing and then you just jump on it and then you say, hey, we have numbers because you're likely to get numbers like that. Also, content marketing involves routines. It involves um um a regimented system, right? It involves like there's a system behind this, what I'm trying to say. So it's not just it's not enough for you to have an idea of a storytelling example that you want to apply to your content marketing. What is more important is to have it structured. And I'm talking about this in terms of content pillars, your content strategy, for example, to start with, then down to your content pillars, then down to your content calendar when you want to post things like that. Because that is how you really like get things down on a granular level. Because you can talk about all of these things and then you just find out that you're just doing like a lot of stuff with nothing to track, with no ending. And also, yeah, that's another part. In addition to that system, you always need to track what you are doing. You always need to track it, like in terms of, okay, for this particular month, let's say July, I decided to go with this approach in terms of my content marketing, right? How did it pan out? Like, what were the results? Things like that are very important. Or else you just find yourself maybe groping for something in the dark, right? So let us move on. Okay, so where does content marketing show up? You find it on social media, your email, in-app banners or in-app interactions, your website, your blogs, and very recently, podcasts. You find content marketing on podcasts or through founder-led marketing. There are a lot of people doing founder-led marketing right now. Although, like most CEOs, most Nigerian CEOs do not have time for all of that, but it's a new one, but podcasts have consistently shown because like I can already cite some success stories when it comes to that. So like you can have a podcast to like maybe drive conversations or build community. Things like I'm sure like a couple of people here listen to the I said what I said podcast, TWT podcast. There's this new one that just came up, Overthinkers, HQ, Manisms. Those ones are basically for conversations, to drive culture, to to build community. But when it comes to business, or when it comes to, yeah, I would say business, content marketing always has a goal, or a podcast has a goal. Trust me, it's not just for the conversation, it's not just for the buzz. And I would give some examples at this juncture. So, the very first one is PiggyVest, right? I'm sure we all know PiggyVest. A couple of us um actually use that application, I'm sure. I don't need to ask. Well, and if you're not, well, I guess you should. So, PiggyVest turned savings education into a relatable comic. It's 12 hours. 12 o'clock, okay. They turned it into something really relatable, right? And they did that through their comic series, Grown Ups, right? I think I need to show you guys that one. Just a second, please. It's not here. Um, Comic Grown Up. um, I'm going to share another screen for this one. Okay, yeah. Okay, so while that is loading, I'll just keep talking. So Piggyverse use this to one drive engagement across their channels. That's on their app, on their website, on on their social media, but more importantly, they used it to drive their app growth. And it will interest you to know that they achieved more than 40,000 app downloads from this particular content, right? So it's a very, very intentional thing when you think about it. Let me share this particular screen. Um, share screen. All right, guys, can you see this particular one? Can you see the screen, please? All right.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So you see that this was something that was very, very intentional, and then they were able to achieve like a lot of results from what's going on. Okay. A lot of results from this. And I just want to show you, the ripple effect of this, right? So I'm just gonna run through it, even down to pop culture or how people were engaging with it online. You find that people actually, this is like a character from that particular comic series. People actually designed, like, this is someone that painted a character from the Grown Ups comic, right? And what they were essentially doing through that is they were drawing from everyday experiences. It's basically satire, right? Where maybe someone overspends, maybe someone takes loans and thinks there will not be repercussions from it, or maybe they're taking 40% from your salary already, and then you go on to collect more, and then they carefully positioned Piggyvest as the solution to all of that, right? So, and they were not, there wasn't something that they were directly calling out. So maybe you find maybe the character's name is Femi, for example, and then you find that Femi actually was in a fix or needed to save money for something, and he was searching for, or maybe he wasn't even searching. Maybe his friend told him that, okay, you want to maybe save up for your house rent. You keep spending the money. The safe lock feature on the PiggyVest app can actually help you to do that, right? So you find that they were not always calling it out directly, but indirectly, because they put this comic series everywhere. They put it on their app, so you were able to, for instance, read the thing through your app, or maybe tap on the link and then you'll be redirected to another page. And from there, it drove up engagement. And there was also post on Twitter about it, post on Instagram. They'll make those slides on Instagram as well. And all of that eventually led to 40,000 app downloads from that content alone. So content marketing, when used properly, when used well, actually drives crazy results. So I would move on to, okay, just out of curiosity, can you guys see this particular screen? This one I'm sharing now. I'm so sorry. I think I'll need you guys to so I need someone to unmute their mic and just speak into. Can you see this um Google slides I'm sharing?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
You can, okay. Okay, great. Okay, so let us move on. Let's move on to the next, because I think it's better sharing here so I can easily just search for something if I need to. Okay. Where was I? Where was I? So the same thing with Carrywise. I think a lot of us here would know Okwe from Carrywise. And basically, Okwe from Carrywise, I think they've sort of retired Okwe, but when Okwe was sort of active, Okwe was that person that would give you financial advice, that would reprimand you for maybe something you were not doing right in terms of your money, indirectly calling you out both on Twitter and especially through their email. So I think what I've done is try to um, identify all the channels so you can see how it works. So Piggyvest, among all other channels that they use to push their comic storytelling, their app was one of them, right? So if you work in a company that is product led, that uses an app, that markets an app, there's a way that app can actually become a tool for content marketing, right? Carrywise, email marketing was their primary channel for sharing oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So email marketing was their primary tool for content marketing, right? They made it personal using Okme from Carrywise. Eden Oasis, moving on to that, is a podcast, and I just want to show you guys. Let me just go to YouTube. Let me go to YouTube real quick. Oh, by the way, guys, we would appreciate if you follow us on of or subscribe to our channel on YouTube as well. Let me show you. I think you guys might have seen this, or I mean, if you listen to it once in a while, you would know this particular podcast. And so you find that okay, so this is set up by a real estate brand, but then they decided to come up with a podcast, and then you find guests like sports event Alibaba. This is Alibaba. You find guests like UB Franklin. You find guests like this guy Scotty Guma. You find people like that on this particular podcast. And now, while you might have like candid conversations around real estate, maybe what Lagos can do better to even stop the flooding and whatnot, the main goal here was actually to drive sales, to just drive sales and just boost visibility for their own brand. So that was like the main goal, and I'm pretty sure that over because I think they've been doing this for quite some time now. I think I'll stop sharing my screen again. Oh wow, this is quite chaotic. Are you guys still with me, please? Okay, I think it's showing again. Yeah, all right. I'm sorry about that. Oh, yeah, okay, I can see in the comment section. Praise said Fairmont is also doing the same thing with Ife. Yeah, with Ife. So yeah, that's a good one, Praise. So you find this with Eden Oasis, right? So I've been directly mentioned different channels now. So Piggyverse uses their app or used their app. Carrywise used email. Eden Oasis used their podcast, and my current favorite, honestly, is Tika 4. Tika 4 is a skincare brand. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but what they do is really, really hilarious. Really, really, and I need to show you guys that one. I need to log into Instagram. Just a second, please. Just a second. Mm, Just a second, please. Cool. In the meantime, how many of us know Tika 4? That's Teeka 4. Does anyone know them?
Yes, I'm here. I don't know Tika 4.
Okay, I think I need to show you. You probably would have seen them, but let me show you. Let me show you what they do. Um, Let me share the screen. Okay. All right, so let me share. Let me search for them and then I'll show you guys. So at this point in time, can you guys see the Instagram screen? Can you see the Instagram screen, please? Okay, okay. I'm sorry for these lapses, please. All right, let's get into it.
Save more. Here's how it works. When you buy 3 pieces of the same product, you get 1% off. And when you
Can you hear the sound? Or did you hear the sound? Okay, all right. Let me move. So, I mean, this is a typical content where they were just like selling, but look at this for example. So, what they are trying to do majorly is to um showcase the kind of okay. All right. So what they're trying to do is to showcase like office culture, the different sort of things that happen in culture. A lot of it is exaggerated, but it's very quirky, fun, and interesting. And that is one of the things that has like drove up their engagement, right? So let's just watch this one.
sorry, it's not water in this thing. Let me open it for you. Let me open it. I'm sorry.
No, you are really bad because you
I'm
can
sorry.
see. Can you imagine what rubbish is this? Can you
sorry.
child?
You don't take over.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. See how did people do yesterday?
Oh, no.
It's just trying to sleep.
Hey, that shoes are not
See you, I'm actually sitting down here. It's so that you cannot see me.
Well, if you say so, why didn't you move when you said it's
not
coming?
okay.
Why didn't you move when
There's
it's okay?
something
Your fingers at
There's
me.
something wrong with you.
Don't point your fingers
Pathetic
at
liar.
me.
You just lie about
Liar.
it. What did you see me? He lied about the 30 days challenge, yeah?
What 30 days challenge?
Excuse you? That's literally my idea. What are you saying? You are a liar.
It takes a liar to know a liar because I'm sure that jelly is not yours. You just like to do fake
No, you
lies.
did not just say that. That's my car.
Your car. It's not
I
yours.
said you are the fake life queen.
It's
Now,
now.
please.
What you are? What you can. I beg. Please clean yourself out.
Wait. Nobody was actually angry.
It's a healing session. You should try it.
These are not okay.
Yeah. Who about the tea? What's that enough? Madam, get out of your business.
All right, guys, did we catch that? Were you able to hear the sound? Because I'm actually curious. Were you able to hear the video? Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. I just needed to know. So I don't know if you followed. I also shared the link. I also shared the link. And so this is content marketing as it exists on social media, and this is one way to do it. And what you're actually seeing here is because this is a skincare brand. Because maybe the one question that might come to your mind is okay, so what's our business with what goes on within you guys' office? And this is like a regular series that they run, right? But what you find now is that it has now actually helped in people, coming to their page, right, to see what they are about. So this is the main reason why people are following them. This is the main reason why people want to stay. But I'm pretty sure that it has significantly improved their sales, right? Because it's there, and if you pay close attention to the video itself, you see that there are elements where they intentionally position the brand, right? There's you can see maybe like a box or a set of boxes stacked up saying Tika 4 makes skincare fun, right? That was what it says. And then you find different people, like almost everybody there, or everybody is wearing the merch, right? And then I mean, at the end of the video too, they also put it there, like they put a CTA there in case you want to buy skincare products from them. So everything is intentional, but this is why people come. This is why people want to watch. And the interesting thing is, you can now put a face to the brand. The way Princess says, like, said she knows the bad lady now, for example. That's like one person I've been able to identify since I came across the brand, right? And what fascinates me the most is the execution. It seems like everybody there, because I'm pretty sure maybe just this lady is the actual, you know, maybe the actual marketing person, and maybe this lady in glasses. I might be wrong, but they are the ones that tend to, like, chart that course, lead the whole thing. But everybody's involved. So you can see that it's like, again, content marketing is intentional. This alone, I don't know if it's looking like they used it's looking like maybe they use like either an high-end phone, maybe like a really, really good iPhone, like an iPhone, maybe 17 Pro Max with some lights. But it wasn't just one, definitely not just one. This is like two cameras, because then there are angles and all of that stuff coming together. And then sound, video editing, all of those things. But it drove home the point. It drove, like, I mean, if you can see the comment section, you can see people just commenting, and then they're just laughing. They're not even asking, oh, we want to buy, because, well, for many of them, that time has not yet come. Right. So before we move on, I'll say we should you just watch one more and then we continue. Let me see this. Yeah, this one. All right. So I'm pretty sure that this one is something that you've already seen, because I think everybody has been recreating it in one way or in one way or another. But what I'm trying to say, like, so this, like I said before, it's not in trends, but you might or will want to use trends at one point or the other. But trends cannot be like your main content engine. That's not something you want to rely on the long run. And then if you go through their page, what you find now is, as they are dropping office culture content, then you find different buckets of their actual products being promoted, right? Salesy posts every now and then, right? Alongside, for instance, this educational content. Now, this is like education. I know they're about. I've seen one, trying to look for it. I know. Okay, so for instance, now this is like an educational type of content. It's still under content marketing, but it's more focused on, how to use their products. But what I'm trying to say is that it is this particular type of content, the office culture side of things, that's actually driving engagement on their page, driving people to their page, and that in turn is promoting sales. Jessica, you raise your hand. Jessica, you can unmute your mic and speak. Oh, wow. Just
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, for this content here, what
Yeah.
if the people I think that you're going to get a lot of followers
Right.
because of this content office series.
Yeah.
But what if the people that are following just only want to see the content and not get to patronize them?
Yeah, so I'll say a good balance to it at the end of the day. I don't believe everyone would not, like, for instance, buy from them. So a good balance to it is, if you check their page, they are not just posting just that content all week long or all month long. What they do is they balance it, so it's in three phases from what I can see. So they have the educational content that talks about maybe how to care for your skin, all of that stuff, and then they are using their actual products to treat that, right? Yeah, that's what Jesse's saying. Like I feel that's where a balanced content pillar comes in. Just what I'm trying to say. So, they have the educational content teaching people how to care for their skin, their face, and all of that, and then they use their products to actually drive that home. While they have this as the fun part of their brand, and while they have one that directly comes to say, "Oh, come and buy," right? So what you find is if there are 50 people that follow them today, for that content, 25 of them would actually stay or would actually watch. Let me put it this way: 25 people would stay and watch um the fun part of their content, the whole office vibe, right? Maybe 15 of those would stay for the educational content, and then five would actually want to buy. And then you find that within that 15 and five, over time, right? Because marketing is something you do continuously and actively. Over time, you would actually convert them because a lot of people are coming to this page for fun. Some already have a need, some will have a need, but the stickiness is in them remembering that, oh, this particular um brand that does office memes and whatnot actually has what I need. Do you understand? Yeah, yeah. Yes, okay. All right, all right. So let's move on. I think we've done okay. I think Blessing shared one. Let's quickly take a look at it before we move on. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Someone also mentioned Career Body. Yeah, Career Body also like I think they do more of memes, around maybe what your boss say. Like it's more, yeah, like the office culture. Yeah, I've seen this. I think I've seen an ad. I think it's very, very interesting that they use children because I feel like the amount of stress that we first of all have to go through in telling them to, okay, do like this, don't do like that. It would be a lot, but it's driving them to the point at the end of the day. So let me just watch one and then we move on. Because kids are actually very, very interesting to watch. So you can see like these ones are even over the roof. You have 75K likes because I mean they're kids. So let me just play this one.
These kids go to the UK. You think they go to the UK with God is good? Just go on and grab. When I was little, we wanted to go to the UK. We nearly made it. Really? Are you not an Arsenal fan? You should be used to it by now.
All right, so I mean, if by the time I check now, I don't really fully know what they do, but let's just really check what they actually do. You find that okay, this is not loading quickly. All right, so what do they do? What they are doing is they are building confident communicators, right? And I guess their main target audience will be parents who have kids about these ages, right? Between maybe 2 to 4 or 5 or 6, or I don't know how old those these children are, but they have to be within this age range. And what you are seeing is they are using this content series for their marketing, for their content marketing, because the people who are actually on this page are watching it the most are adults like yourself and myself, right? And a couple of us are already married or planning to already have kids. So there's no way maybe your child is growing up and then what you really want is to have them speak well. You would eventually remember that there is a brand called Noisy Classroom. So let's move on because I think we are just in quite a lot. All right, let me um just a second, please. Something seems to be broken here. Okay, share. All right, so let me go back to my slide and then we move quickly. All right. Okay, so yeah, that is that on like the brands. And so here's a simple framework to help you with it. It's called the 3H. Is where English should mess with us. So I don't know whether to say H or H's, but you get the point. So there is Hero, Hub, and Help, and this was developed by Google, right? And I think in coming up with your own kind of content, this would actually help a lot. So what is hero content, for example? Hero content is this occasional high impact content that you come up with when you want to like launch a product or you are within a campaign. That's what you really do. So think launches, think seasonal pushes, think campaigns, right? Each one is deliberately occasional and it's meant to feel like a moment. And posting it constantly would is not the way to go at the end of the day. So this is something that you want to think about, like in terms of when you want to launch a new feature on your app, for example, how do you want to go about it? So that's the hero content. And for this, I think I recommended it earlier. I believe this works well with that book. It's called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, and that particular hero's journey framework is what, like, if you really, really check it, is what a lot of brands use in pushing their content or pushing their brand or whatever they want to launch. It's always from the hero's perspective, and that's what hero content does. Pop content is your regular recurring content, that keeps your audience engaged, between those hero moments. And a good example is the examples that we cited on Tika for on Noisy Classroom. I believe that's the name, you know. So that's like very, very, it's like very, very regular content that you post. So all this behind the scenes series that you run, that's what up content does, right? And then help or hygiene content helps to answer a specific question that your audience is searching for, right? It's often product related, so it's like how to's, FAQs about your product, and I would say this alone, or these three alone, already form content pillars that you need. So you could easily now break it down to say, okay, because for one, I mean, before I even came across this, I used to benchmark my content pillars around educational, aspirational, and engagement. So aspirational in the sense of what is the end in view for the customer? What is the promise that we are trying to sell to them? So that's like the aspirational side of things, or motivational. Educational is more around how do we educate them? How do we teach them to improve their lives or become better versions of themselves based on the product that we're trying to sell? So if it's a book, for example, if it's books I'm selling, then you might find that on that page, I'm constantly talking about the kind of books you need to read to maybe, for instance, get better at marketing, get better at for instance, financial management, right? And then help content is now now borders around my product, like how do I want to how I want to educate my customers or my audience on, specifics. So for instance, if I'm selling a particular cup, some sort of custom made cup, how will the customer use it? I have to have like a guide on that, and that also has to be creatively done. So all of these give you an holistic. So a lot of, like, the fun part will be in the up content, right? But you don't want to do up content alone, except maybe your goal is to just build community and just driving. Like the goal, like I said earlier, the goal is always important. So if your goal is awareness, engagement alone, then maybe stick with up content. But if you have something to sell, this is like a good framework for you to work with, right? So moving on. Yeah, so these are like just channels where content marketing exists. So you have um, social media, there is website and blogs, email marketing, and I think I've done justice to this, with the examples I gave earlier. Right. So there's a part where you also have to like keep like a consistent voice, right? You know, content marketing only builds trust if your brand sounds the same every time. So if you are going to go for RAS, for example, RAS, if your language is RAS, then you might find all these slangs, all these trying to think of one now. Trying to think of maybe I'm trying to think of something. I don't know. I mean, I think I know what RAS sounds like now. Please give me some time. Um, let's say you're trying to market to someone like Portable, the musician. What you end up doing is maybe using all these slangs like Zazu, like Zay. You get what I'm trying to say? And my point is, if your voice always has to be constant. If your voice is demure, if that's what you're trying to do, then keep it that way every single time. It always has to be the same because that's what actually drives trust, right? Um, I'll give you a simple exercise just for you to determine how your brand will sound. You can do this in your spare time or even now. So just put two words, I mean 3 words down. So how do you want it to sound? Do you want to oh so sorry. I keep losing my train of thought. So how do you want it to sound, right? Just put 3 words down. For instance, it could be warm, direct, and playful. It could be traditional, conventional, and boring, right? Because trust me, boring is actually a brand voice. There are people that actually track with that. So my point is consistency. Like you always have to be consistent with how you want to communicate with your audience. All right, so let's move on from that. So, this is a simple framework for building a content strategy because that's what really, I mentioned that everything rises and falls on the strength of your structure when it comes to content marketing. So your goal, like you need to be clear on your goal. What outcome are you driving? What are you really pushing for here, right? And your audience, you need to be clear about who you are targeting. Your pillars, choose 3 to 4 core topics. It's more it's more it's more advisable to pick fewer content pillars, honestly. Because if you stretch it too wide, you might find that there's no effectiveness anywhere. So using Ticker for again, they're just doing 3 things. They're educating you, they're entertaining you, they're selling to you. Those are pillars, right? There always be something new you want to add. You might probably want to add employee of the month. It's fine, but for starters, you always need to start small, just so you don't stretch yourself too thin, right? Okay, let me stop for now. Does anyone have any questions before I move on? Are we good? What's going on? Oh yeah, okay. Ayomide, please go on. Ayomide, do you want to speak? Okay, I guess we can move on. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let me go on to the next. So, this is sorry. Yeah, so this is like an example of, you know, what your content calendar should look like. This is just an example. This is not something I use. Mine typically has the date, what date is coming out. What date is it coming out? Yeah, definitely the pillar, the channel, that's also important. Yes, the goal, not quite. I mean, the goal is already entrenched in your pillar. And then what would follow after this is the content itself, right? If there's a design direction, you put it there. the links to it, all of those things just help you to actually like have a good cadence for what you want to push out to your customers. All right, so let's move on. Yeah, measuring results are very, very important. So your goal cannot be sales and then you're tracking awareness. Maybe your goal initially was, oh, um, for instance, you wanted 10 to 15 businesses onboarded or converted, and then you are tracking for reach and impressions or new followers. That doesn't it doesn't add up, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So your goal will always determine the kind of results you measure for, right? So these things are very, very important. If it's retention, for example, then you know that you're looking at your churn rate. I mean, that could be technical in some regard, but the goal in mind, or you always have to be clear about it. All right, so AI and content marketing. If I didn't put this year, it would not have been good, right? Things have changed right now. My slide, for example, was actually generated with AI, right? I used Claude for this. So, and I'm mentioning that to say that it is here to stay. But then how do you use it as a content marketer or as a marketer? And I think like we're at this stage where we really, really need to be intentional when we use this, especially as creative people. In your individual careers, as you grow, you might find at some point that you might need to be very, very technical when it comes to marketing, right? But where and how does AI come in and how do you use it? First of all, I need everyone here to understand that AI is your assistant, right? And what do you do with an assistant? If you have a very, very demanding job right now, and you need to get an assistant for that, your assistant does not do the main job. You delegate your assistant, and you delegate with your own guidelines, with your own insight, with your own expertise, right? You do not defer to them and say, "Oh, for instance, this keynote speech at this event. Come up with the speech. Let me just go and say it." No, that's not the job of an assistant. An assistant is supposed to ease your burden, right? But easing your burden still has like a deep level of your own input. Like this I don't know why like this is just very, very important because as creative people, you might find that especially maybe when you know in your tinkering the content is not really, really coming as you'd like, and then maybe you like just give AI one prompt and then just generate something. I need to understand that at the end of the day, AI is a yes man. Is a yes man. It will always give you what you want it to say. I saw a social media post not too long ago. The guy said AI is very, very good at giving you the average of anything. And you know the interesting thing, I came up with this slide now. To me, I'm not exactly fascinated because I have designer friends, that if I had reached out to them, they'll help me come up with a really, really good, slide deck better than this. Now, in your own bubble, you will come up with maybe a slide deck like this and think, oh yeah, this is like this is the best stuff out there. But I promise you, not even with the millions of people who are using the same tool as you're using, you probably have like 1,000, or I probably have like 10,000 people today who generated the exact same type of template, right? So AI is not some holy grail that just helps you to come up with this really, really nice content. I would say my recommendation is when it comes to using AI, have your own rough structure down, like at like once you know you want to use it, have your own rough structure, your own rough drafts, your own research, how you really, really want to go about it. And then you can now feed it to it and say, oh, this is the goal. And when it comes to like prompting, I would say it's very important to really, really provide full context, like be as detailed and granular as possible, because like Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, all of these guys can still give you something that is not up to par, right? So you want to give it that first draft and say, hey, this is my idea. I need you to, maybe for instance, give me a research-backed result. So I use Claude a lot. And that's one of the things I always tell Claude, like, if you're gonna give me anything, I need to see where you got it from. Don't give me something that maybe you just generated from somewhere, like with no context at all, and then you want me to use that. So AI is your assistant. It's not a crutch for you to lean on, right? And one of the things it can help you to do is definitely idea generation, brainstorming. It can be like that, again, assistant, right? So it doesn't mean you are different what you can come up with to it. You come up with ideas and then you just ask it to feed you some ideas and see if that will work. Your first drafts, like I said, repurpose into, so for instance, now, and like this is like a good one actually. In this webinar now, I have my notes already, right? I've already done the webinar. I need a blog post. I have like, because I'm also like looking at my notes right now, and this is about what, maybe like 20 pages or so, because I'm just skimming through at this point. I could feed that to AI and say, come up with a blog post for this. And even after that, another rule of thumb is once AI gives you something, the first output is not your, like, that should not be the final one, right? You get it from it and you actually look at it to say, does this thing actually work? So that's what I can say. Like, AI can help you churn out work faster, but it should not replace you in any way. All right. So yeah, content marketing versus paid ads. I think after this, I can just show you a couple of works I've done personally on this front, so you can also see that. Someone's calling me. Can you guys still hear me, please?
Yeah.
So the call just interrupted what I was trying to show you. Where is that screen? Okay. Okay, guys. All right. Let us. Yeah. So I was on content marketing versus paid ads. So how does this work? Ads buy the attention, right? Like I've said, yeah, ads buy the attention, but content builds the trust that compounds. So ads are always very, very goal driven, right? They are things that, like, they exist for a short term period, a short term goal, right? And you could run ads for, and I'm sure a couple of people already, maybe you've experimented with it. Maybe you've boosted ads, or maybe you've run an actual campaign from Ads Manager or Meta or even Google Ads, Snapchat, TikTok, all of these platforms. But they always have a specific goal in mind. And like I said, like, they buy attention. If your goal is to increase your followers, you will get followers from ads. Run an ad for maybe 2 weeks, put some money behind it, you get followers, right? But it's buying the attention. But then the question becomes, how do you improve on what you've gotten, right? Because people can follow you for different reasons, but what keeps them is that content marketing, like you're consistent. So I just put this out there to say, like, in case you think they are the same, they are not the same, right? They are not the same. And typically, paid ad also work for maybe hero content, for example, when you have like your big rollout, right? So there's that. And so, like, there's a data point here. So it says content marketing generates roughly 3 times more leads than outbound or paid marketing, unlike paid media, which stops producing the moment the ad spend stops, right? So owned content keeps generating returns for years after it's published. So I'll give you a good example for this. I currently work as product marketing manager at my cover genius, and before I became a product marketing manager, I was a community manager, so I was actively handling social media. And there was a time when I was just consistently just posting relatable stuff, storytelling and everything. And one day we got a client, or like, so because what we do is B2B. So we got an employer that actually wanted to get insurance for their customers for like the whole quarter. And that ran into, I think, about 2 or 3 million naira just from the content they saw. So when done well, your content can sell. So like as you saw here now, content marketing can actually help you generate 3 times more leads that you're getting from paid ads. Take out for example, noisy classroom, for example. What they are doing right now, I can bet you with you that they are getting people constantly in their DMs to say, hey, I would like to get this, even though they are not ready. I'm sure their marketing team or their sales team would have taken their data down. So that's one lead for you. So where you are getting one lead via paid ads, on content marketing, you're probably going to get three. You're most likely going to get three rather. So it's a powerful tool at the end of the day, and it depends on how you use it, right? So how does content marketing work with paid ads? You can boost your best performing organic post using paid ads. So it's like you've already gained insight from the fact that, okay, I made this post, it had 2,000 likes. It had 2,000 likes, right? How can I, you know, optimize? How can I get more from this? And an easy way to do that is to now run ads, right? And from that ad, like already they are already commenting. I mean, there's engagement, there's comments, all of those things. So it's easy for people to just follow or people to like whatever your goal is. You're actually going to get it. All right, so let us move on. So I think this is my final slide. Bringing it all together. Content marketing is not a stunt or a single viral post. I think that's also something that you need to understand. We spoke about it. We spoke about content marketing being very, very, very intentional. So it's storytelling applied consistently with a clear goal to a specific audience, tracked against real results. So I cited the example of the Kuda lady. While she was there, she was I want to believe she was doing beyond her, what was expected of her. So when it comes to content marketing, you probably need to do that to achieve the results you are looking for. I think okay, so I think after this call, I'll just show you a couple of things I did early in my career because I think that would also help in driving this home. But a key thing to also notice when it comes to content strategy or content marketing, just start small, right? And then from there you can now build on to the next. You don't want to like if for instance right now Twitter and Instagram are the platforms that are working well for your brand, please focus on that for now. Stay grounded because there's always a ripple effect as you will find with a lot of personal brand. Take Salem for example. Salem blew up on Instagram, but then the ripple effect was that he gained more followers on Twitter, gained more followers on TikTok, gained more followers on LinkedIn. And over time, he has now spread, especially now that there are more resources to do that. He has now been able to spread because another thing to note is that when it comes to the channels that you're going to use for content marketing, everything has a different format. So on Instagram, you might find that carousels work and videos work and pictures work. But on Twitter, you might find that it's just pictures and threads that work or single tweets that work. TikTok is just solely videos. LinkedIn, it might be because there's a space to post blogs. It might be okay, it might be actual blogs that work on LinkedIn. So, and I'm saying this to say that once you are starting off, you might not be able to do everything you want to do all at once. So it actually pays to start small. Just start small. Pick TikTok and Instagram and lock in on that. Get your results and then spread, right? So yeah, just going through it again. So I think an action point for everyone here that I would like you to do, um, you know, keeping the context of where you work in mind right now, or the brand or clients that you have. Write down one clear goal that you want to achieve for them. So if you want to drive sales, write it down. If you want to generate leads for them, write it down. If you want to increase your follower count, please write it down, right? And after that, write down who exactly your target audience is. You need to be specific. So it can't be businessmen, right? It might be businessmen who live in Lagos, about this particular age, let's say about 40, with a team size of to 10 employees, generating X revenue per month or per year. So that's specific. So like that way, it now fits into your storytelling, because what then happens is you can easily tell a story about how, yeah, you can tell a story of a CEO who's in his 40s trying to make it in Lagos, you know, with a small business, and then with limited resources, right? So those are the things you build your story around. Pick three content pillars. So we already singled out Hero, Hub, and Help content. And you could rename these things, really. They are not cast in stone. So Hero Hub could suddenly be, maybe, for instance, dreams in Lagos, or Road to Japa, for example. That's, for instance, if you run like a travel agency, that's one. No, Road to Japa actually works for Hub. So yeah, that could be Road to Japa, right? Hero content could have like a different name. That's not coming to my head right now. But Help content, you could rename it to become, for instance, how to how to um how to get ready for your next travel, how to put your papers together, how to apply for your visa, things like that. So you can contextualize this thing. It's not cast in stone. I'm referring to content pillars now. You don't always have to say, okay, as because it's boring at the end of the day. When just the educational, it's actually boring. So pick two channels to work on and just start. Like I, for one, there was a time when I could sit down and write down a content, because I used to handle just one pillar. I mean, one content calendar. I mean, one what's the English now? Channel, actually. So it was Instagram, and then I'll just write content for the whole month. But when I began to handle, maybe for Twitter, it went beyond that scope. And then the same thing also goes for email marketing too. For email, you don't want to bombard. You can't be sending emails every day. So you want to maybe make it. I think an ideal way to think about it is bi-weekly, just bi-weekly, because keep in mind that your customers already get a lot of emails. So you need to make sure that you are not irritating them. So you could create pillars around what we've already talked about, and just limit it to just twice and bi-weekly. So that's twice a month, and make it as in because I mean, if you have just one bullet to, maybe, let's not get graphic. If you have just one shot, right, to convince your customer out, or to get them to engage, how do you want to go about it? So you already know that you're gonna send um a newsletter in the next 2 weeks. You need to prepare adequately for that, right? So everything we've spoken about here, storytelling as a skill, you need to draw all of those elements and put it into the newsletter to ensure that it actually drives the point home. So that when you reach out to them to say, oh, come and buy, I am selling, it's very easy. It's very easy. The same thing also goes for websites or for blogs. That works slightly differently, because you can post as much as possible, because it works more with SEO, relevant keywords, dedicated pages, all of these things. So yeah, I can see someone with their hands up. Yeah, you can ask a question, please. You can unmute and talk. Are you there? You can't hear me. Wow. Can you guys hear me now? Can anyone hear me now?
I could hear you since.
Oh, since I don't like I was already I was panicking for a moment there. Please check with your network, or it might just be me. It might just be me. All right, so I think I have come to the end of my presentation. I hope you guys were able to learn as much as I did from you actually, because I mean there are some brands that did not even come to mind until a couple of people mentioned them here. So I'm happy to take questions before we call it a day. Um, yeah, you could just Emanuela, you could ask your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So my question would be around brand perception. Say you're working for a brand, and because for some time now, I've been putting out content around some of the core content pillars that you mentioned, but it's not necessarily translating to results, some kind of results that I'm tracking. And recently, I found that there's also a brand perception problem. How do you like approach what's the word correcting the whole like perception around the brand or a situation like that?
Yeah, sorry. So your question is around brand perception. So when you say brand perception, you're referring to the kind of reputation your brand or your business currently has at this moment, right?
Yes, yes. And it could be through probably like from what I've my own inference so far, some of them are like an offshoot of customer service, and I don't know, but like there's just this perception around the brand. I feel like it's also not allowing, it's also like contributing to like low engagements in the post
Yeah,
and all that.
but okay. From what you're saying there are issues with like the experience customers are getting using the product. So
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
do people get do you get like regular backlash? Do people call you out on Twitter, drop comments on your Instagram, things like that? Negative comments.
No, but sometimes in the DM, some people come back to complain, and then like in conversations, I sometimes like engage in conversations with random people, and then just get their percep. I might not even let them know that I'm managing the brand. I'll just be like this brand and stuff like I just to get feedback from a real life person who has probably patronized or something, and then from one of those interactions, I got something of the sort that now made me feel like there's also a brand perception problem, not just engagement, me not getting like maybe that could be contributing to the low um metrics, low engagements and other metrics I've been seeing.
Okay, so I think one way to go about this, so it's a twofold thing really. I mean, I work as a product marketer, so I understand what you're saying fully. Before I push out any feature or try to communicate a guide to a customer or run a campaign around it, one of the things that needs to be on lockdown is for us to have like an actual functioning product. So,
It's
or
13
I mean, if
hours.
your organization is service based, like you need to ensure that. So, and this thing works with internal alignment. So, if you're working with your operations team, for example, how what are the processes behind leading up to, how the customer experiences your product or service. So those things need to be locked down. So, or things like a customer representative not picking up on time, can actually mess up brand perception because I mean that customer already has, a bad experience, and most of them can go and set camera now and just start, and I mean they are well within their right to because they did not have a good experience. But when it comes to fixing it, so that's one way to fix it because internally, like everybody just needs to align and ensure that every customer gets the best experience. Number two would be to actually double down on testimonials. So your customers are, I mean, they are bad experiences, that's a given, right? But there are also people who had like really, really good experience around the product or service that you offer. So what you want to do is actually maybe track with your customer success team, just get all those people, no matter, like, maybe within the next quarter, within this month and next quarter, run extensive testimonial campaigns around that. Because, okay, some people are saying it's bad. Well, we are presenting people, and especially when you have up to like 10 or 20 people about that, I mean, that have that experience, you could gather them together and interview them. So, I mean, depending on which is your strongest channel, whether it's web, whether it's social media, whether it's email, get all those testimonials together, push it out, or even in different formats, push it out, and also get them to actually, tweet or comment or say, "Oh, I had a great experience using these guys. You should actually patronize them." Another example is, for instance, if you offer, um, let me see. Let's say the skincare brand. If you type acne, for example, now on Twitter, you would actually find someone who's dealing with that thing right now, and is probably ranting on Twitter saying they've not found a solution. So if your brand is, if your product is like the best, or if you're sure your product can actually solve that particular problem, you can tweet publicly and say, "Hey, sorry to hear this. However, we have this for you, and we are sure that it could actually work out for you." And you follow up on our customer, you get them to use your product, and once they have a great experience, you can you can actually now push that out as another testimonial. So everything I'm mentioning is about engineer, because if the problem is perception, it's about engineering it. You are basically getting great experiences from everywhere. You are not you are not you are not waiting for them to tweet. You are getting them to actually do it. Another part actually is to run a campaign. Although it involves money anyway. Like, so it's like a giveaway context rather. Maybe you put 100K up, or maybe a convenient amount, and say, "This is our products. We want you to market it in the best way." So by the time 10 influencers or 10 everyday people or 20 people talk about it and say, "Oh, these guys are the best, you should use them," and they do it as creatively as possible, trust me, your perception would have improved. Your brand perception would have improved. So I don't know if I answered your question correctly.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, all right. Tammy Favor, you have your hand up.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So my question is that what would you say about showing up as a multiple personality?
Sorry,
So this is what I mean. Can you hear me now?
I can.
All right, so I was actually asking what you would say, or your view on showing up as a multiple personality. So this is what I mean. I'm a brand designer and an entrepreneur. So I've been trying to, in a way, juxtapose those two together and creating content around those two things. And I see people say, "Oh, just pick a niche, just pick one, just show up as one." But then I've been trying to target young entrepreneurs, and telling them how the importance of taking their visual identity serious and all of those things. Plus, I'm an entrepreneur myself too. Now, it's been kind of, I don't know, confusing, even to me in a way, because I want to show up as, okay, entrepreneurs, take your visual identity serious. This is why it is very good for you. And okay, buy my product. Now, trying to create content around those two is kind of I don't know if it confuses my audience, or even because people also say just pick one, just do one. So what would you say on that? I don't know if I structured my question very well.
So, okay, let me, if I get you correctly, you're a brand designer
Yes,
and
sir.
you do knowledge sharing already on how people can improve their design processes. And on the flip side, you also want to sell design-based products, right?
No, 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 not design-based products. I mean, I make products, just physical products. I
Oh,
actually I look out snacks. Yeah,
okay. What
that
brand?
is it. I said I sell local snacks.
Local snacks. Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So I'm trying to make people buy my products and also positioning myself as also a brand designer.
okay, okay. So I see where there might be a. So it's not impossible, but typically, you'll find that people tend to focus on one first, right? And then, so what comes to mind now is, I mean, we all know Taoma, right? So Taoma, we know Taoma for skits, but then Taoma also, I don't know if she still does it, but she also sells small chops, or I don't know, like small chops, or maybe some, I don't know, whether maybe fries, things like that, food basically. And the thing about it is she used the credibility that she already had as a creator or an influencer to actually push that food brand. But the thing about it is also all of us cannot be a Taoma. So there will be a way. So I'll use myself for example. I run I run Credo. I'm a product marketing manager, and I also create content on my social media page. I do motivational content every now and then. It so there will always be a disconnect if I come and say, hey, um, um, today maybe okay, let me know use yeah today maybe I'm talking about motivation and then maybe the following day they are saying come and buy a course, right? So I'm trying to talk about this from the perspective of your friends and maybe people that are like maybe already getting confused about what you're trying to do. But what you could do really is it's not so founder-led content is a good way to do this. So for example, yeah, somebody said Marvella, exactly. So this thing goes in two ways, right? You could actually push the two actively and actually come out on the other end victorious, or you come out on the other end just you yourself are confused, your customers are confused. So you might want to keep them. I'm going to answer it this way. Two options. You might want to keep them separate, right? On your on your main page, you give your design tips, and then your business just shows on your bio, where people just tap on it, maybe from liking the kind of content you share about design, brand design, and whatnot. They go to that page and then see that, oh, you also do this too. And for those who are interested, they actually buy from you. On the other end, you could actually share brand design content, which is educational, and also founder-led content. So what that means is today you're talking about, so that's now easily two pillars. Today you're talking about brand design, different things that people can do to improve their design processes. And then tomorrow you can come and say, these are my experiences as a business owner. These are the challenges I face. These are things I feel like small business owners like myself can do better. So that way, they know you as a design creator, but on the other hand, they also know you not just as someone who's asking them to come and buy or to come and try out what you are selling, but someone who is actually giving tips on how to run a business. So that's like a good balance to it. I don't know if do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
So that have I convinced or confused you?
No, 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 I'm getting it.
Yeah, so I believe that that's one way to go about it because um going at it and the thing about it is that at the end of the day you might not be able to go at the two with the same frequency or with the same intensity. So you might want to separate them, right? Have a separate page for it and post your content there while on your main page you post this. And for that you might not for the food business. I don't know for the physical, I don't know what product it is, but for that particular business you might not want to show your face. You might use actual pictures of the products, asking them to come and sell, I mean to come and buy, or just showcasing your products in like different dimensions, right? And then maybe you use memes, you use text for memes, while on your main page you can now do like collaborative posts of founder-led content with your page and that page. I think that's a good way to go about it.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, I see a lot of people asking, can you get, yes, you will get the recording. It's actually been recorded. Okay, so Blessing says she just had an epiphany. Like, can we touch briefly on content marketing, more focused content as the core? Can you explain this, please? I don't think I get a question. Product marketing, for product marketing, you guys have to pay for that. You pay for that. Digital marketing, this is also part of digital marketing at the end of the day. I don't know if you mean digital marketing as a paid ads type of vibe, but I mean, digital marketing is actually broad. It's actually more broad than we think. Okay, yeah, okay. You raised your hand. Okay, you can speak.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. So, my question was, whilst you were speaking, so I was just trying to understand the key aspects of the marketing. You know, we have content marketing,
Yeah,
and based on your explanation, more focused on the content, the storytelling they are trying to tell, right? Then I also pieced it together for product marketing, so like being more focused on product for the marketing aspect.
yeah.
If I'm correct, you don't necessarily have to go in depthly. Like it was just an epic, it just came. It was like a light bulb moment of understanding the distinctions between these three aspects of marketing. But I know that they can also be intertwined um somehow.
Okay. All right. So I'll say it this way. Product marketing, um, how do I put it now? I'll say it is that bridge between your product and the market. I'm getting somewhere. So it always involves positioning in terms of business wise. How do we want to be perceived? Like if they say, for instance, now Cradle Africa, what is Cradle Africa? What should come to the mind of people immediately is it is the go-to edtech platform, like the number one go-to edtech platform in Nigeria, right? That's positioning. And the way you do that is in tandem with something called messaging. Again, so there's like you will always find that in product marketing. So positioning and messaging. So positioning is more direct, it's more like this is what we want to be known for in terms of our functionality. Messaging is more about how do we make our customers feel what like that now ties in one way or another to content marketing or storytelling, where it's now about the emotional side of things, like the kind of stories you want your customers, the kind of stories you want to tell to your customers. And product marketing also involves other things like competitive intelligence, right? Although I think this is like a skill that cuts across every marketing discipline or every business discipline. Like so, competitive intelligence just basically means you checking um competitors in your space, right? Seeing what they do, what they are doing better than you, and how you can improve that, or you can edge them out, right? It's just basically just keeping an eye on your competitors. There is sales enablement, so that you are coming up with sales materials, with sales driven material that your sales team can work with. You're coming up with go-to-market strategies. So that involves product launches, right? How do you want to? So is it a soft launch or like one that you are like really, really going all out on. All of those things are things you find within product marketing. There is pricing as well, because product marketing is just basically, how do I put it? Because now that we have like a lot of apps, a lot of these things, what you find is um companies actually need marketers who have that technical know-how combined with an ability to with a creative ability basically. And that is where you now find product marketers, you find growth marketers, you find forgotten their name now. Yeah, but let's just say group marketers and product marketers, because these two roles just tend to they tend to go beyond just the creative side of things. They actually think like it's like you are putting yourself in a business standpoint where for everything you do, because that's like the sole goal of growth, and for product marketing, the goal is always how much are we bringing in? Is revenue a business result? Do you understand? So that's what product marketing involves. Somebody sent me. No, I think we dealt with this. Personal branding for sorry, so sorry. So just I think have I answered everything, Blessing?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, okay. All right. So someone sent me a message privately. Said, okay, personal branding for someone who has multiple skills and wants to showcase that you have three skills. Also know that I'm also trying to find my strongest foot amongst them. Personal branding. So I think honestly, I think maybe this will also track back to the response I gave earlier. If you look at anybody who is like popular for anything right now, and then they have something they are doing on the side, they actually started with one thing. They actually started with one thing. So in order to just reduce confusion, I think when it comes to personal branding, that one thing is one thing like that's something you always want to push out first. So if singing, for instance, is your forte, you want to do it consistently enough for people to know you for that. And then every now and then you can now chip in and say, oh, I also paint. Maybe just show like a weekend thing where you're just painting on a canvas, right? That's like one way to go about it, because a lot of us creatives are actually multi-potentialized and we face this problem. So you can just make one like the major one you push out, while in buckets in various intervals, you can just push out the other aspects of you for people to also know that you also do this, because that's what actually makes it fascinating. When they call someone jack of all trades, it's probably because okay, they are doing everything at the same time. But when they say, oh, this guy is a genius, they'll say, oh, he does this. Or like take Chris Brown, for example. We know him as a singer. But then he's an actor, he's also a businessman, he's also a dancer. But we knew him primarily first as a singer. So what you can do now, even now, start at the starting point, do one thing consistently enough for people to know you for it, not necessarily for virality, just for like even like the softest level of engagement, and then you can start showing other aspects of you gradually. Gradually. I think I saw a question around someone said I've not touched SEO. So for SEO, I think at this particular level, because this is supposed to be very beginner friendly. SEO works for visibility, and when done right, it can also be a very, very good conversion engine for your customers or for the people you are trying to target. So I mean, for SEO, there are such things as programmatic landing pages where, for instance, you find it on a page like Wakanow. And this is now like a very technical part of SEO where someone searches for instance, they are trying to get they just searched on Google for maybe flights from Lagos to London, for example. They didn't search for Wakana, but Wakana already has all of that data, like the possible prices from different airlines on their page. And then they have a dedicated landing page that just pulls that data and shows them exactly what they need. And on that part also, you know that the person didn't search for Waka Now at any point. It was just Lagos to London, but data is there across various airlines and with different prices. So what then happens is on that landing page, once they get there, they see the prices, and once they click buy, best believe they are going to be redirected to the Waka Now page. So that's one aspect of SEO. There's also something called comparison pages. So the way comparison pages work is you have two fintech brands, maybe Piggyverse versus Carrywise. Now, what you are doing is you have a dedicated page for this. You are Piggyverse. You are actually trying to push your own product as a better product. But what you're going to do is to honestly compare the two and say where, what are the top features on Piggyverse, what are the top features on Carrywise, and put it out as it is. You don't want to be in the middle of backlash because maybe you gave the wrong props to your competitor. So comparison pages do this, but you now have to, you at the end of the day, you're actually being very, very biased to your own brand, to your own product. So it's like this is Carrywise, this is Piggyverse, this is where Piggyverse thrives, this is where Piggyverse excels, this is where Carrywise excels. But then you now come down to say this is one unique feature that Piggyverse has that Carrywise does not have. And then you now position Piggyverse as the go-to guy for that. Anyone can look up right now. Just look up, click up versus Notion. You understand what I'm trying to say. So a lot of brands do this, and comparison pages just help because with SEO, by the time you type Carrywise, it's very, very likely that if Piggyverse has that set up, what you find is you just see Carrywise on Piggyverse page. So by the time you search for it, you actually wanted to download Carrywise, you might find yourself downloading Piggyverse at the end of the day. And then, I mean, there are other tactics to this thing. There are other tactics to this thing. So I think that's what I'll say on SEO for now. On SEO for now. I think we have come. I don't know if you guys have any more questions. Do we have any more questions, or do we call it a day? All right, I don't think anyone has any more questions, but yeah, so we have a running community. You could visit this link, community.cradleafrica.com, to join our community, and from there we share free resources, we share job opportunities as well as upcoming webinars like this. So if also I would also like to know if you'd like to I mean if you like to get access to a paid version of this course with more in-depth examples, I'd like to see your okay, yeah, I could do that, no problem. Let me stop sharing the screen for a second, then bring that up. So it's community.cradleafrica.com. Yeah, I also wanted to know from you guys, would you like a paid version of this course? You can just drop it in the comment section, or let me see your thumbs up. All right, all right, all right. Blessing said yes. Okay, I'm happy to let you guys know that that is coming up real soon. So stay tuned for that. I think you can join our communities to let community rather to know when that comes up, and also we'll also be in touch with you on your email as well as SMS for those who drop their numbers. All right, so we've come to the end. I would just like us to do something for me. Please go on Twitter, just drop a comment about today's webinar, everything you learned, like what stood out to you today, and just start Cradle Africa. We would really, really English appreciate that a lot. Praise, you raise up your hand.
Yes, I have a question to ask. Sorry, I came late.
Okay.
Can I go on?
Yeah, yes, please. Last one.
Okay, so recently my company, I work in a credit bureau. So we have three credit bureaus in Nigeria. That's CRC, Credit Registry, and First Central. I work in Credit Registry. But due from environmental scanning, it happened that we are actually the third in among the three credit bureau via SEO, but in social media we are one. So then for social media we are one. So now the content team, not content team, the communications team is trying to rank credit registry for SEO. No problem. Then I was told to create accounts for Tumblr, Substack, and we already have WordPress and Medium, where we are going to be posting content. Good. Then when I looked at the whole thing, I was like, this okay, two of the Substack and the other Medium can work, but Tumblr, we are not supposed to be there. I don't think our audience is there, and I believe that if you want to do something well. If we have currently we are operating 15 social media accounts, two different pages,
How many
15.
handlers?
Eh?
How many handlers?
Just one person, which is me. 15 social media account. Luckily, although the other page, it was just last December that they had to, because they employed somebody, and they had to. It's not like it's a different page. We have the main company's page and one of our events page like that, Africa Credit Expo. So on each page, they opened seven each on all the social media platforms. That I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Let me to finish the website I'm talking about. So then I sent the message to the team lead. I said, this thing that you are opening Tumblr, this is screaming to me. Oh, it's screaming desperation, because nothing that we have 15 already from the other social media account that we are handling. Then you are bringing 4 more extra websites because you want to rank. Medium and Substack, I don't have an issue with it, but Tumblr should not fly. And I don't know. I believe that it's about quality. It is not about it does, because the truth is it doesn't take me anything, right, to copy and paste. It's actually copy and paste. It's not like the content is different. Where I have to write different content might not be the problem. I was just looking at, I don't want us to come from a standpoint of we need to be everywhere. So I told him, we don't have to be everywhere to sell this market. Let us look for our target audience. Look for where our content is actually going to generate traffic and sell out there. That we want to get SEO ranking doesn't mean that we'll have to go and open it today. Now, if maybe one app come and they say that maybe hyperlink, they'll go and open. They are fond of doing that kind of thing a lot. Then I made an instance. I said our thread is not functioning. We post there, it looks as if nobody's there. What if we take the and close down this thread, close down this Tumblr, close down some of these apps that are not. I'm sorry for my voice. I don't know. I don't know if I'm raising it up. I feel like, what if we take this energy that we are using to post in other platforms, because it is not about the posting, it's about the management.
Yeah.
It's about the management. After you post, you have to go and be checking. You have to go and be monitoring. What if we take this time that we are using to go and be monitoring other platforms that are not generating traffic to other platforms? You understand what I'm saying? That at least we are seeing some traffic in it. Doesn't it make a little sense? So he was like, no, that that the reason why he wants us to open Tumblr was because so that they will find us on SEO. I am not a quantity person. I mean, I believe in quality. I personally, I have my business page and personal page are on TikTok, Instagram, but currently I am not functioning on some of them, because I know that to get your target audience, you need to build from somewhere. Then you carry those people to the other platform. So I don't know if I'm making any sense, if I was right, if I was wrong, or if I don't know. So you are in the best place to let me know. Thank you.
Uh, okay, I think one of the things I even first of all found interesting is 15 platforms and one handler is overkill, to be honest. Like one of the things that we highlighted here today in today's webinar was, look, it starts small, right? It's even from when you, because what typically happens is a ripple effect, whether it's a personal brand or a business. If you are popular on one platform, people will automatically go and find you. So Lai Wasabi, for example, I don't know which one he blew up first. Maybe Instagram, for example. He had must have had like a dormant TikTok account. People automatically went to go and find him on TikTok. So it all starts with doing the work first and letting your own audience find you, getting that engagement before you spread your tentacles. And I see, I mean, I know there's social media for SEO, Reddit. I know Reddit in some circles actually performs well even within Nigeria, but it's not akin to just posting everywhere. Because I mean, unless you are posting the same thing everywhere, even that even that will be tasking, because tracking it, there's no way, unless you have like a tool for scheduling everything, there's no way I'm not going to lose track of maybe one or two that would suffer on the long run eventually. So I would say honestly, the best thing, as you've said already, I think you even have the answer to this thing. Like, pick maybe at best 3 platforms and lock in on that for the next 6 months. The SEO side of things is not even in volume, because you can post volume that Google cannot, Google is not even giving you results from, because then that term is crawling now. Yeah, that Google is not giving you a good review for. So it's always in the quality of the content, like search intent, all of these things, and it's a lot of work. And if one person is handling 15 platforms, it's best to track it down to maybe the 3 top performing ones, and just lock it down there. So that's what I would say. So I think maybe speak to your manager and just like make him or her see reasons why it has to be this way. I'm pretty sure that, I mean, their intentions are okay in terms of, maybe they've done research and they just saw that, okay, Tumblr. But even for the sector you are mentioning, I'm skeptical whether your audience would even be there. So yeah, I think it's worth talking to them about, like, on a more candid level, on a more candid level.
When I checked Tumblr, it was basically about photography and creativity, pictures. I told him, to prove my point, I told him, I said, this Tumblr does not follow. We are a finance firm. You can't be everywhere because you want to. I don't know. So, and the last time I had the conversation, it looks as if I was trying to override him. So I just actually left it. My prayer, I'm not going to stay there for long. My
Mhm.
exit is so soon, but I wish anybody who is going to be handling it very soon all the best.
Oh my God. All right. All right, Praise. It's very interesting with Betty Single. I mean, I would say another part of this is, well, there's a part of office politics in this thing. So I mean, you might want to do something. You have like data to back it, to say, hey, this is the way to go. But if your CEO doesn't like it, if your manager doesn't like it, you might just have to dance to their music. So I guess that's like another part of what is happening here. Is well, is well.
No, but you know that managers are not always right. It will take time for them to realize.
Fair, fair. I mean,
So
I've in some capacities I've had to manage some people. I've not always been right myself. But I guess we all have that thing. Like, interestingly, you might get to that level too, and your team member is telling you, Praise, this thing will actually work. This is the way to go, and you won't agree until they go your way and it doesn't work out, and then you say, hey, how about that thing you spoke about before? So I mean, I just need people to realize on their own eventually. All right, guys. Please, I'd like to see you guys just tweet something about Cradle Africa on Twitter. You could snap your Zoom screen and just post it on IG if you're on your stories if you're active on that, and just tag us at Cradle Africa. On Twitter, just let people know you had a great experience today. You learned a lot, and I mean, I'll also follow up with you guys in the coming weeks because we're actually going to launch a paid version of this course where it's more in depth, more practical. There are frameworks for you to work with. So yeah, I'll appreciate if you guys can do that. And one final thing, please. Could you please turn on your cameras and let's just pose for the camera, please? That's the last one. That's the last one, and then we call it a day.
I would really like to post this screenshot, but currently your face is showing. You shouldn't be the one I'll be posting on social
My
media.
face.
So I don't know.
Is it just my face?
I'm seeing your face, yeah.
No, I think so. The thing is, if everyone turns on their camera, right,
Okay.
it sort of expands.
So I'm like looking for a content I can post on social media or even LinkedIn. So maybe your slides will work. You can just review the slides again.
Yes, I would. Yeah. Just a second. Or you know what? Let's first do this one. Can everyone just on their camera for now? I'm waiting for you guys, please. Babatunde, Kemi, Enifeni, Saliu, Khalifa, Peace again, Lori, Yasmin, Jesse, Blessing, Favor, Winner, Bolagbite, Timmy, Pearls, Uchechi, I think I've come to them. Phil, Emanuela, Evans. I'd like to see you guys. I'd like to see you guys. I'd like to see you guys. Gold, you seem to be blocking your camera. Come on, let's do this, guys. Are you guys shy? You're shy. You are shying for the camera. Shy. Okay. Okay, it seems nobody wants to show their face. So. Okay. Let me. All right, I can see Kemi. Wow, only I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm waiting though. Okay, I think everybody's got Jesse's driving. Okay. Big man. All right. Okay, let's just take a screenshot for this and then I'll do the one you said, praise. All right, let's just pose for the camera. 2 thumbs up, smile, whichever your pose is. Like I did that again, Pills. I think I lost you at that point. I was about to.
But I can't see anybody.
What is it?
Oh,
I cannot also
my
see
screen is not
everybody.
showing. It's supposed to show.
I mean, I can't. I don't know why. I can see everybody. I don't know what's going on.
I think you probably pinned yourself.
Just
You pinned yourself. Yeah, so it's just you.
Let me see. Okay. Let me see here. Hold on. Please hold on. Wait, guys. I don't know what's going on. It should be like this.
okay, you know what? Is it possible to maybe get the screenshot and share via email or something?
Yeah, that's what happened. All right, guys. Let's pose for the camera. 2 thumbs up. Smile. Whatever I want to do. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, all right, all right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. It has been one. I didn't expect it to take this long, to be honest. Happy to, I'm happy to connect again, and then very soon I will be going live with our paid course. Let me. So then I want to share that screen again, so you can also take screenshots of that.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is it. Both.
Station.
Yes. Can you see? Can you guys see? So you can take screenshots of this and also post.
Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Some others.
All right. I'll just keep scrolling. Yeah, this one. Yeah, you can take this.
Okay.
All right,
Next.
this one. All right, I think that's just about it. Thank you so much. We will stay in touch. I hope you guys also join the community. I've shared the link in bio. I don't know, Emanuela, you have your hand raised. I don't know if you want to say something. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can't hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, yes, I said I stumbled upon this webinar through an ad. So I wanted to ask you the community to follow up on
But yeah,
our journeys.
I shared the link. Let me share it again. Let me share it again. This is the link.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. All right.